Parth sir, please begin.
Pardon, sir?
Sir, please begin. We are live.
Okay, fine, sir, fine. So, good morning to one and all present here on the virtual platform. Today, I, Parth Chabra, Faculty of Commerce, PAL University, is welcoming our speaker of this program. It is a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome the guest speaker who is present to deliver a very informative session for the students as well as for the we faculties too. On the behalf of PAL University of Commerce, I am welcoming the student participants and the faculties who have joined this session and who are joining this session, who have joined this session live. I convey my regards to the speaker of the day, Mrs. Parul Patel, ma'am. So starting the session with a brief introduction of ma'am, and afterwards I'll allow ma'am to hand over the, take over the session. First of all, briefing with the few words that Mrs. Parul Patel ma'am is a senior HR manager and admin at Weak Tech Solution Private Limited. She has a vast and in-depth knowledge of about 14 years in this field. She has been actively working with Bloom Decor Limited, Accusal Limited, Shelby Limited, Analytics Business Limited, Solution Private Limited, and currently she is working with VTech Solution Limited, providing the fruitful sessions and solutions in planning, execution of HR policies and practices, designing policies, HR operations, talent acquisition, software development, training and development of employees, employees retention strategies, and ensure the best company solution with the atmosphere of company and its culture with employees relation to. There is no need, there is no end, I guess, of her roles and responsibilities in this field. So let's hand over the audience to ma'am for the fruitful session. So ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Parth. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Okay, so I'll start. Our topic for today's tips and techniques how to crack the interview, right? Specifically for the freshers. So I'll go little practical way and with real scenarios, right? So whenever if you are going for the interview, right, first step what you need to do is research about the company, right? So read about the company, you go through the website, read go through the LinkedIn page, learn what product and services of the company. So you should have basic knowledge about the company, what they are doing. So whenever if you have any question during the interview, you can ask to the interviewer. Few companies are taking the assessments, right? Aptitude test, logical test, maybe writing test, grammar test. So be ready with the test also. There would be limit of the test you need to complete, right? So third step, what which is most important is be prepared, be confident, and do not fear, right? You do not think that you are going for an interview. Just think like you are going for some discussion related to your job. So do not have any kind of fear, because it's going to be impact your confidence level. And then if you have done some preparation, it's going to be spoil that as well. So be prepared, be confident, and do not have any kind of fear, right? uh, Fourth step is about the dress code. So have professional dress code, wear formals, which is going to be have a decent image on your interview. Whether it's online or whether it's offline, you have to be on time. So be punctual, reach to the destination before 5 to 10 minutes, so that you can start your interview on time. If you have your interview on online, maybe Zoom, Teams, on any of the platforms, so try to join before 5 to 10 minutes, so that if you have any technical problem, you can resolve it, and you can start the interview in time. Stay focused. That is also most important point whenever you are going for an interview. So whatever the questions, whatever the information, or whatever the comes from the interview, stay focused, understand it, and then you answer those questions with relevancy, right? So don't divert the question of interviewer, yeah, or don't divert your focus. Just be on a sync of the whatever the question or interviewer is asking. More listen and be responsive is also equal and important role in interview. So whenever interviewer is asking you something about your CV, about your experience, about your expectation, anything, so you have to be a good listener first, right? So you listen first, and then be responsive. So response and react. React is something on negative side, response is something on positive side, right? So be responsive instead of being reactive, right? So first listen what interviewer is trying to say. If you are not able to understand, you can ask very politely to clarify whether whatever you have listened is right or not. So clarify it, and then be responsive to their questions. So these are the few important points before you start the interview. And then I'll move to the next slide. So you will be having what for what role you are applying, right, in advance, whether you are going for campus interview, whether you are applying to the companies directly. So you will be having job description for each and every role, right? So what I'll suggest is, once you have all the information about the company, then you go through the job description thoroughly. Because what you are going, if you are selected, what you are going to do in this company, what will be your job profile, this is most important criteria which you needs to understand first. So if you know the job description, you will be able to correlate the interviewer questions, what will be your expectation, what will be your role if you are selected, right? And whether this job description and whether these roles and responsibility are fit for your career goal or not. It If what you are going to do, what you want to do, if this is syncing with the job description, then you are going to be a extraordinary performer. But if your interest is not sync with the job description, then I would suggest change the field, or change the profile, or change the company, right? And ready for group discussion rules, right? Whenever you are going for campus interviews, so company will take the first group discussion. So they will give one topic, latest topic or current scenario related to politics, related to anything related to job. It will be any topic. So they will let you know the rules for the group discussion. So you have to understand the rules first, how you start, how you can discuss among the your group about the topic. So don't concentrate on arguments, but you should put your point in a such a way where basically interviewer will check your communication skills, your behavior, your attitude in this uh, group discussion. So what I have observed, whenever we are going for campus, there are so many students, they know about the topic, but they are not able to speak. So understand, if you do not speak in initial this group discussion, there might be possibility, there might be 80 to 90% possibility you will not select for the next round of interview. So do not have any kind of fear. Put your points, at least speak up. Once you speak up and when someone will discuss with you, you will have a confident and you will be able to have a more discussion in that topic. So don't be calm, don't be silent, put your any kind of fear inside and just speak up about the topic. Third is never ever fabricate your CV. So whatever, make sure whatever information you are putting in your CV, it should be synced with your actual personality, actual experience, actual interest, strengths, everything. Because say for example, how I am taking the interview, I'll always look about the CV. I'll ask about your whatever the projects or internship you have gone through. I'll ask about the detail about the projects and internship, how you completed it, what all are the challenges you have faced, how was your team members, what was your achievement. Then if you write something about in your strength and weaknesses, so I'll ask about your how you consider it as your strength. If you put some area of interest, then also somebody can ask you about how you correlate. If you are putting that I love to read a books, so he will ask what kind of books you are reading, which is your favorite author. So this way, so make sure you keep it short and simple, your CV. If it's on one page, that is great. Keep the points in a bullet line and make sure it is always think about your original personality and experience. Fourth is clarify and verify. Okay, this is the most important topic. In our company also, in VTech solution, we have this point in our standards, VTech standards. So if someone is what we ask our employees, if someone is giving you some task, right, so you clarify what you understood, whether whatever you are understood, it's right or wrong. So if interviewer is also asked about any of the question, any of the experience, so if you are not able to understand, just clarify with them whatever you have understood is right or not. So clarify and verify whatever the question they are asking, whatever the information they are sharing, whether it's about the company, whether it's about the culture, whether it's about the your roles and responsibility. So you should always clarify and verify, because if you have another understanding in your mind, it's going to be create an impact on your future job role. The other point which you needs to take care is, do not argue, but you should always discuss. Say for example, if one topic is going on during your interview and interviewer is asking you about some your whatever its challenges or anything, so do not argue or do not ask cross question, but take it as a discussion and discuss the topic, discuss the information, uh, how you want to proceed, or how you can correlate whatever the question they are asking. So take it as a discussion and then you discuss further. Then you will be able to enjoy more your interview. If you are taking your interview as a discussion, then it could be give a your end results could be satisfactory. Share your achievements during internship and projects. So if you have gone through any kind of internship, whether it's for 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, or 6 month, if you have any summer internship projects, So you should, if you have achieved something, say for example, if you have shared any of the ideas or suggestions, or if you have done any of the new implementation during your internship, during your projects, you can always share with the interviewer. Even if you have developed new skills, interpersonal skills or leadership skills, or maybe team coordination, team building, whatever the even small qualities you have developed, you can always share your, take it as an achievement, and you can always share with the interviewer. Ask relevant questions. So if topic is going in a one way, and if you are asking irrelevant questions to the interviewer, then also it's going to be impact. I mean, it will create a bad image about you, that you are not focused, and you are not asking the relevant questions, right? So this is the most important criteria. I'm not going to the very formal topics, or very, this is going to be actual scenarios in the interview, right? Whatever the topic I have written, we are taking interview maybe 10, maybe 5 in a daily basis, 5 to 10, right? So I used to screen the candidates this way. So this is the very practical, and whatever the challenges and whatever the problems we are facing from the candidates, these are the points which I have mentioned here. So there are so many incidents. Candidates are not even aware about the company name or aware about the job description before they are coming to the interview. So that is the first negative image on the starting of the interview. You should always research about the company and go through the job description. That is most important criteria. Because if you do not know about the company, if you do not know about what you are going to do in this company, then there is no meaning to giving the interview. It's just going to be very, very formal and ineffective. So make sure you have all the details. Become a detail oriented person before you go for the interview. To know about company culture, employee benefits, and policies, right? When you also can ask questions to the interviewer, right? They will also give the opportunity. If you have any questions, you can ask to us, right? So try in initial career, do not focus only on monetary side, but be focused on learning side. And nowadays there are so many employees who are not joining the company due to only salary. But what is more important is, what is the company culture, what is the employee benefits company giving, what is the policies of the company culture, work life balance, right? What we are seeking for nowadays, flexibility, transparency, what kind of leaves they are going giving to the employees, what is the other benefit, medical benefits, or leave benefits, holiday benefits, uh, learning opportunity, career path in the company. So try to understand about all these things rather than just concentrate on salary part. Because what I believe is, if you have that experience, if you have that capability and caliber in you, then salary money will run on you later. So first make yourself strong enough so that you can demand on money later on, based on your experience and expertise. So to know about this also, company culture, employee benefits, and policies equally important. Know your strength and weakness. Weakness is little negative word I'll use about the area of improvements. Everyone has strength and few areas where 1 or 2 areas where you need little more attention, right? So you should know what is your strength, what, based on your area of interest, what is the field, which is the field or which is the sector which you can have a strong command. What is your strength, and which areas which you need to, which needs more attention, right? More focus to make it more improved, right? So know about your strength and weakness, and do not feel shy or bad when you are sharing your area of improvement as well, because if we are perfect, then we will be in different level. Everyone has an area of improvements, including me, you, everyone, right? So be confident and share. If they are asking about your strength and weaknesses, you can always share your strength and area of improvement which you would like to work upon slowly and gradually. Seek for learning approach. I have just shared with you, right? Do not run on salary side at the initial career start of your career. Instead of that, focus on learning approach. So ask what all are the learning opportunity companies giving, what is the career path which I'll be getting next. So internal or external learning opportunity. So, and whatever the learning comes, whether it's from the same department, whether it's from the different department, learn as much as you can, so that it will improve your confidence and experience and knowledge, and which is going to be help you in so many areas. So become a learning seeker. uh, Always, it's always, but at the initial career of stage, it's going to be more important, because interviewer is also checking whether you are running on learning or whether you are running on salary side. So which is more important for. So you take a note of it and become a learning seeker. Know your career goals. Okay, so everyone has a short term and long term goal. So interviewer may ask you what you want to achieve in span of 2 years or 3 years, and after 5 or 10 years. So don't give the answers based on okay they will like, but what you actually want to be. What say for example, if you are going in HR, so after 3 years you would like to achieve senior executive or lead position with the experience in HR generalist profile. After 10 to 15 years, you can see yourself on a director level or senior manager level or head of the department level, right? So this is for the HR, but everyone has a different goal based on their area of interest. So if you have passed out in BCom, but your goal might be different, right? So based on your area of interest, write down your small goals, which becomes your long-term goals and big goals later on. So make sure you understand your career goals very carefully, and you decide your career in those areas. Otherwise, initially you will start your career in some other field, and then you will seek for some, it will not going to be productive basically. It will impact your performance as well later on. So whenever it's possible, if it's possible, start to decide your goals, small goals, or sector or area of interest or field department based on your interest. So it's going to be help you in later of side. Ask for the next career path. Say for example, your interview is completed or going to be completed, right? you have got the information about the company, about the role, about the culture, benefits, and everything. And if you have that interest to join that company, then you can always ask about what will be your next career path in this company. If you have joined as an executive in, say for example, business development department, and if you have performed extraordinary, you have met all the expectation, so what will be my next career path? What will I achieve? What will I see myself after 3 years in this company? You can always ask for your career path in respective company. Ask for the feedback. Okay, so whenever you are completing the interview, you can ask immediately as well uh, to the interview whether they see any area of improvements from your end. What is the feedback? How you would like to me to improve or work upon areas. So you can always ask for the feedback. Take those feedback on positive side, and if you are selected, then it's well and good. If you are not selected, then also don't feel bad, because there might be different department or different job description for you based on your discussion with the interview. It might be your area of interest is different. So do not get demotivated if you are rejected in the interview. It's not you are rejected, but this role is not fit for you, right? And work on if you have taken the feedback, there might be possibility about your communication skills, about the poor knowledge about the company or your research, or maybe job description. So whatever the feedback you are receiving, work on that area, so before you go for the next interview. So that slowly, gradually, and keep giving interview, right? If you are rejecting for 10 times, 15 times, doesn't matter. Keep improving, and increase your confidence level, increase your you know uh, knowledge and experience related to wherever you are going for the interview. And one day you will be achieving that. So sometimes what happens, generally candidates, if they are rejected, they get demotivated. They doesn't sometimes they don't take initiative to search the job, and then they are believing from themselves, I am not getting any kind of job. There are lots of job in the market. You just need to spend some time, take the initiative. You have to do smart work. You have to take a smart approach, and then you will definitely get the interview and job. But if we are sitting in one place doing nothing, we are not going to achieve anything. So don't go get demotivated. Sometimes students get some on depression level. Why I'm not selecting? What's wrong on me? My luck is not good. It's nothing like that. It's everything is up to you, how you are taking it and how you are going to work on it. And the last and most important point is, say for example, if everything is went well, your discussion, your goal is syncing with the job description, and they have also selected you, and you have also accepted this job. So make sure once you accept the job, do not decline the offer, right? It's going to be create a bad image about you. So if you want to think, if you want to rethink, think twice or thrice. Ask for 2 to 3 days. Let me think, let me work out whether it's for me or not. Take a day time to think, but make sure you do not decline offer wherever you are going. Your first job, second job, third job. It's going to be affect your image, because we have a after 5 to 10 years of experience, you will be roaming around here only. So there might be possibility you will be in a need of that company again in future, because we can't imagine the growth of the company as well. There are so many companies growing drastically, and there are so many employees coming back to the company. They are rejoining the company, and even our manager is also shuffling around, so they also have an image. Okay, I have interviewed this candidate, and he has a habit of declining offer again and again, right? So don't create that image. Once you accept the offer, make sure whenever it's possible you join that company, right? So this is it from my end. So in a summary, I would say, whenever you are going for an interview, right, search about the company, have a good research, enough research about the company, their product, their services, what is the job description, whether it's matching with your area of interest or not. And then be prepared, be confident, don't fear, because it's not going to be something like exam or test or anything. It is just a discussion about uh, you know uh, your answers or their information or whatever they are seeking from you, and whatever queries you have, it's only the discussion. So don't think that it's going to be interview or maybe test or anything. So consider it as you are going for some discussion, and then it will increase your confidence slowly, gradually. Decide your career goal, know about the company culture, benefits, and everything. Concentrate on your learning approach rather than salary monetary part at the initial career of your start. Take the feedback and follow this process. So it might help you to have the choose the right company, and maybe company can choose the right candidate for respective job. Any questions? I'm open to answer.
So yes, ma'am. Indeed, it was a great session for all of us, including students too. So here I have few questions of this from the student side,
Mhm.
and the first question I'm throwing for you is that how confidence we can build up, and what are the ways to be very much confident for appearing in interview, right? So what is the foremost thing a candidate should develop in yourself or build in himself to be very much confident in front of employer?
Can you repeat what
Yes.
confidence? Can you,
How
can you
how
repeat your question?
yes, please. So what are the ways the confident can be confident in front of employer so that we can judge him or her on the way of confident that yes, like he is confident or she is confident, we
Okay.
can proceed further.
So it's not about, more confident or less confident, but if you are, connecting, if you have very good eye connect, right? Eye contact with the interviewer, and if you have enough knowledge about the your role, whatever interview you are going, enough, if you know better about the company, you will be able to answer it. And if you have knowledge, then you will get confidence. It will give more confidence, and then it will help you in giving the answer with the right confidence.
Right. The second question we have here is that what type of frequent questions the interviewer may throw on the student, or we can say on the candidate?
Right, right. So if you know research or search on Google, it will give you 3 to 4 common questions that tell me about yourself, what is your strength and weaknesses, why should hire you,
Right.
kind of question. But if you ask me, I don't ask this routine question. Yeah, I'll ask initially, I'll ask about the, give me, brief me about yourself, or whatever the experience you have. If you are experienced, they can share about their projects, internship. Then later on, I'll check about the what all are their achievements in their project and internship. If someone is a fresher, what all are the challenges they are facing in their maybe personal life or professional life, which will help me to understand the, behavior and attitude of the
Right.
respective candidate. And then I'll also check about their goals, their what they want to be in their life, so it will make me understand whether this role is fit for them or not, right? I'll also check about their area of interest, their extracurricular activities, how they go in depth about particular topics or areas, and how uh, they, they whether they become responsive, they discuss, they ask questions. So I'll give the opportunity to ask the question as well, how good knowledge they have about the company. Because if they do, if they really have an interest in, applying this job, then they will definitely research about the company. They will go through the website, they will go through the LinkedIn page, they will understand the job description, they will be well prepared before coming the interview. So I'll check all these areas in freshers.
So, there is one more question from the student side, that how to negotiate for the salary if everything goes well. The last question is what about the salary. So, how should a candidate should negotiate in that part?
I just told you, right? If you are a fresher, do not negotiate salary in initial career of your stage, right? First, you seek for the, you develop yourself, you concentrate on your growth, learning, and everything. Once you have that, learning and enough experience, then you can demand for the money. Nowadays, for freshers, each company has, a figure for the salary figure for the, okay, someone will join in this department, then we have a fixed salary of this. So there is no chances of salary negotiation, because fresher is fresher, they don't have enough any kind of experience. We are going to train them, right? So this is the reason all companies might have a fixed salary figure for the fresher. So if they are giving some salary, so you consider it as this is the, criteria of this company for a freshers.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, one or two last question. Afterward, we'll sum up the session. The question is, what if we fail? What if a candidate fails to answer one or two questions, or it may be a three questions, but the rest of the part of interview is quite well. So, what are the chances the interview will hire him or her?
Okay, so it doesn't all, it depends on interviewer as well, and depends on the which questions they have not answered, right? If there is a technical question, or if there is a questions related to their CV, and they are they have written something different, and their actual personality is different, and maybe they are not focused. Sometimes what happen, candidate is speaking for one answer differently, and then after some time they have a different answer for the same question, right? So it's totally depends on the what which answer they have failed for. But overall performance, overall confidence, overall discussion, how went well, it totally depends on that also.
Fine. So, ma'am, there is a one last question. Afterwards, we'll sum up the things. Uh, on what are the major questions on the basis you hire the candidates, or if any if HR manager hire the candidates, these are that few 4 or 5 questions on which we judge the employer, we analyze the
Okay,
employee as a whole.
so Right. So whenever you are applying for any job, first you understand what is the right. Say for example, I'm applying for we are hiring for USIT recruiter, right? So we need someone from the technical background. We need excellent communication skills, and someone is ready to work in US shift. Okay, so these are our main important criteria. Someone should know about what is Python, what is developer, kind of. So whenever you are applying for the job, first you understand whether you are, meeting the basic minimum criteria for that role. Okay. So once you know that, okay, I have that basic minimum criteria, then you whenever you are giving the interview, and if you have that criteria or maybe relevant expectation from you, then you will be able to answer most of the questions. So if you don't know about any of the answer, you can always say in a polite way, okay, sorry, but I don't have any idea about this, but if you can share with me, it would be great. It would be add in my learning. Okay.
Right.
So every time, it's fine if you don't know answer, it's completely fine. Don't get demotivate in between, but maintain your confidence level. Everyone doesn't know everything, right? So if
True.
they ask you something and if you don't know, that's perfectly fine, but you can gain that knowledge. So take a maintain the positivity thoughts, and whatever answers you can give, uh, answer those questions. Be prepared before you get. Don't just go and attend the interview. You will not be able to crack it, so you have to be prepared for that. So if you take care of this small task, you will definitely able to crack the interview. And even if you don't, that's perfectly fine. Slowly, gradually, once you give so many interviews, maybe 5 to 10, you will be able to have that idea. Okay, what should I know, what should I do before attending any kind of interview.
Fine, ma'am. So here we end our session, and on the behalf of Parul University Faculty of Commerce, with all those kind words, I, Parth Chabra, Assistant Professor at Parul University, thank you for the fruitful session which we have today. You have enlightened us in many ways. We, as a faculty, and all the students which we have joined on the virtual platform, you gave an, what we can say, a very much in-depth insights for the session, and to how to deal with the real world and with the interview handling objections, right? Thank you everyone who attended this webinar, and who helped me or the team members of PIC in directly or indirectly way. Thank you, ma'am, for your fruitful insights. And definitely, I am very much delighted to thank you and share my views that it will enhance the knowledge of our students, and so that they can perform very much confidently, and it will progress well, and definitely it will give a positive results and a boost to our students. And I wish more fruitful sessions of yours we can have in the coming days, and as and when necessary, we'll definitely uh, contact you and have a fruitful interaction, live interaction with the students too. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Uh,
Thank you, and all the best, students.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Parth. Yeah.